Hello and welcome to the fifth episode of the Infill podcast. I'm Eleanor and I am joined by Becca. And this week we are joined by JP, who's the team principal of USW Racing here at the University of South Wales. So JP, I just want to start. What is your role consist of as team principal?
The main goal is to decide what the team does in the full academic year. So obviously we enter Formula Student UK, which is an IMechE sponsored event where we race cars we build in the university. My main aim for this year is to get a car functioning, but mainly it is to get a car which is worthy enough to compete against other universities and earn some points for USW.
Yeah. So is it there, or as I know, there's different departments within the team, is it technical and non-technical? So how does that work? Having to manage different teams as well that are all kind of doing different things to create this one thing.
So we have a good structure. So basically, each team we have 6 teams, and out of which we have 2 non-technical, 4 technical. Each of them have a deputy and a team lead, who would then report to either our technical operator or our operations manager, and they both report to me. So that way, I have a broad understanding of what's happening. And if I want a more detailed one, I have weekly sessions with all the team and the team lead in specific, so I can know what's actually happening in the team.
And part of having a university having a racing team is everyone's all students. So how does that work, having to balance in a team but also your coursework and what you have to do as part of your academic as well?
Well, the one thing that helps the most is having an office, because that way you can actually work on your coursework when in the office, where you can also coordinate with other people of the team. So yeah, that's the most important thing. I'll be honest with you. People say other stuff, but I think offices are the most important thing, because once I get in there, I know what tasks I'm doing. I know what work has to be done for the day. So yeah, office is the most important thing, I'd say.
What, for me anyway, what bit of motivational advice would you give to students who are worried about, say, balancing their coursework with joining a society like Formula Students? What's your motivation, I guess, to sell that to students here then?
University for most people is a one in a lifetime experience, and after university, you really won't get the time to do these kind of extracurriculars. University is the only time you can get to do stuff like Formula Student and balance your coursework. When you're in a real day job, yeah, it'll be a 9 to 5 or something, hopefully like that. But yeah, it's a very fun way to look at life. You're absolutely filled with things from day start to day end, and you have to manage. It's like a game, and in terms of motivation, yeah, it's the only time you can do it, and you have to get there and do it now. Otherwise, you will lose the chance.
So would you say actually juggling two things at the same time that both need priority is a good way to learn for when people get into the industry or for when they leave university?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm juggling 6 things at the moment. Some only 3, 4 clubs, and then obviously courseworks and extracurriculars. Um, I've learned so much stuff in the last year, which I wouldn't have done if I wasn't a part of such clubs and such experiences. You get to delegate tasks, which is a very important thing you need to know. People forget to delegate tasks and think the whole thing is their responsibility. So that's obviously something they can work on within these teams, and they can obviously split their time efficiently and have an experience as to how it would be in industry when you're obviously swamped with many tasks or backlog or yeah.
You were talking about delegating tasks, and I know obviously we just spoke about your own coursework. So what's that like, having to do that for, or being responsible for other students? Then I'm sure that's a massive weight, but when it goes well, I'm sure it goes very well.
Yeah, and when it goes wrong, it goes really wrong. So yeah, it's a responsibility that needs to be obviously taken with caution. Not everybody can be the team principal, and if you're a team principal, there's a lot of stress you have to take. If you can't take it, you should not be it. If I'm being honest. And yeah, in terms of delegation, it's if they do the work, it's all their effort. There's nothing in me. If they don't do the effort, it's my responsibility to make them do it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, 100%.
You've mentioned former students. Did you want to give a bit more detail on what that competition is and what, as a team, our aim is for the competition?
So, Formula Student is a competition organized by IMechE, which stands for Institute of Mechanical Engineers. And it's mainly a way to get students who are younger on to get a more experience onto physically building a car and the intricate process behind it. And obviously, the main goal for us this season is to get a functioning car. If we get a car working, which we can take to Silverstone GP, it'll be an amazing experience for the whole team to witness such an amazing event where you can see events, you can see people with much better cars, much more experience and knowledge, and you can meet them and learn from them at the same time showcasing what we're capable of. So, yeah.
So again, is it all kind of a chance to showcase what we've achieved, or is it kind of like more, we've built this car, here it is to be judged? Is that kind of how it works, or?
I'd say it's a combination of showcasing and learning. For me, most importantly, it is to learn because building a car is good. I agree, but you have to make it better, and the only way you can do so is by looking at others' cars who are obviously winning the league. If I'm being honest, we're not going to win this league. Everybody knows it because it's our first time going into it. So, only way to get to the top is to learn from what they're doing and how we can do it better. And yeah, I mean, yeah, it is a matter of showcasing as well to show people we exist and we can actually build a car and what sort of talents and skills USW as a university has. But yeah, so it's a combination of showcasing and learning.
And what was your I guess journey into being team principal then? Did you start off in a role like what Eleanor's doing with the social media, or did you work your way up? I don't know how it works.
So I was very reluctant to join USW Racing because I thought it was a team where things weren't done as seriously as they are. I didn't know much about the team, and I took very late, and I joined as a developer in 2025 January. So I was building them websites and bespoke software like field simulators and website scrapers and stuff. Over time, the position of electronics and software lead opened up September this term, this academic year. So I put my hat in for that and went for the electronics and software lead because our team was not bad at the moment, but they didn't have a leader, and that's why I thought we needed a leader. So I put my hat for that. We had a couple of technical interviews and a bit of strengths interviews. In the end, they picked me and one of my colleagues as co-leads, and then after that, obviously, we had some sort of turmoil last year where some teams couldn't. How do I put this lightly? They had some personal issues and couldn't complete some of the tasks, which led to us not going to this year's competition at Silverstone. And that's when the old core leadership team, as they call it, the CLT, decided to split ways with the team because it's their last year and they want to focus more on their studies. And throughout this process, I was very keenly involved with the team which was failing, and I tried my best to help them, even though I'm not sure of the CAD process. And my task then was delegating and reaching out to more older members. Um, yeah, and the team leader then saw my effort and the work I've been putting in, and recommended me as a successor. And he also saw my previous experience as a leader from other societies and other events.
So how important would you say coming into a role like yours, where you're not just overseeing a department, you're kind of overseeing something as a whole? Is it important to kind of have previous leadership experience so you kind of know what to expect, or is it something you can kind of go in a bit blind?
You can't go in blind. You need to have, I wouldn't say experience, but knowledge. Experience you can gain with the role itself, but knowledge you need to have of how to delegate tasks, how to say no to people. That's the most important thing I say. People struggle to say no to people, and if you're a leader, you have to say no to people. So yeah, you need to have some sort of knowledge of how to lead a team itself. Experience, I mean, you can learn it along the way.
And would you say learning on the job is a massive help as well, to again know how to delegate those tasks and how to also complete your own tasks? There's only like only you can do.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. You learn again. You learn a lot being a team principal. Mainly saying no to people and obviously delegating tasks, as you mentioned. Communication is a very good skill you develop because you have to speak to a multitude of people with different backgrounds. As you said, there's technical, non-technical people. So yeah, you do learn a lot on the job.
I wanted to ask about Silverstone. Like that
Yeah.
sounds insane and such a cool thing for the university to have the opportunity to do. So what does that look like then for your team? Like what will happen?
So once we build the car, we're gonna register for the event, and we're gonna pay them a lot of money, and we're gonna go to Silverstone as a team with the car, and there's gonna be a bunch of tests on that day where they're gonna test how safe the car is, how reliable the car is, and if it's suitable to have a person in it driving at relatively high speeds. And then we're going to partake in a lot of events, static and dynamic. So they're going to be stuff like how much fuel does your car consume, how efficiently does it consume, what's the audio levels of the car, like is it quiet or is it loud? And then there's going to be a couple of races, like you're going to do so like a fast in a straight line, and then in turns, and like brake testing. There's been a couple of competitions and rules, similar to the actual F1 kind of situation where you race against other cars and in different categories like cornering and straight line speed and stuff.
Do you think that will help? Obviously, building the car would be a massive achievement anyway, but is that your main success, or is there something other than Silverstone that you want your team to then go on and achieve after that, possibly?
My goal is, well, to simply put, obviously to Silverstone this year, but overall, I think it's the continuation of the team. It doesn't matter if you go Silverstone once and fail the other years. So obviously, I want to make sure we have the knowledge to go forward and build cars. In case of regs change, we have to build a new car. We should have so, and if people left, we need to have people in the team who know how to build a car. And if not, we have to set some process in place where if new people come in, they should know what's been done last year, what they can carry forward on. So keeping the team running for as long as possible is the goal.
And each September we have the uni has more people come in who are then like, oh, I want to get into this. So because you don't know their knowledge set, so do you think you sometimes have to spend a bit of time catching them up to speed to then get like be at to the level everyone else is already on the team to then keep learning from previous years?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, as you mentioned, first years, obviously, I mean, we have people in our team who don't know anything about motorsport science. I mean, I don't know anything about motorsport science when I first joined the team. I was just a developer in computer science, and it takes time to learn how that integrates into building a car. And it does take time and effort for new people to get up to speed, as you mentioned. And the way we do it is by shadowing. We do let people shadow people like team leaders. So we had a new person, Caleb, join in last week who had no idea of what F1 was or what sort of motorsport science was. But we assigned him to Thomas Leon, who is our lead for electronics and software, and we made him show around basically what's going on, what's expected of him in the next coming weeks, and we gave him tasks to do and to see how good he fits with the team. Um, so yeah, that's we would actually help them a lot in terms of if they're coming in new. Yeah.
In this podcast, obviously, we talk a lot about careers and what this course and USW can bring. So I was just wondering if, before taking on the role of team principal and afterwards, has being team principal changed your career path and what you want to do after university?
While it hasn't changed what I want to do after university, it does definitely give me an idea of what life would look like in a different perspective. Um, and in terms of careers wise, I've been getting a lot of people on my LinkedIn recently who've been connecting me, thinking I am a big person. So yeah, you do get a lot of more outreach and a lot more networking when if you're in a doesn't have to be a team leader position, but if you're in Formula Student and if you're in a team like this, you will get seen by a lot of people. IMechE definitely does have a very good graduate network. And they actually came to USW last week to do an event, and they were mentioning a lot about Formula Student and how people actually got into F1 just because they had Formula Student experience. Formula One roles definitely require a lot of experience to get into them. Formula Student is a big plus. They definitely do look for Formula Student, and if you're obviously a successful team, it's a lot more impressive. But even if you're part of a team which has no success or no sort of physical results or evidence of work, they do look at into those, and they actually do hire people just for being in Formula Student.
So would you say that comes from because those students are already applying what they're learning, so it shows they can learn on the job? Is that why you think F1 teams they see former students on your CV and it's kind of almost like your way in to those teams?
Formula Student is such a complex competition. There's a lot of competitions involved in them, because obviously you got to do communication, teamwork, delegation, working on the physical task itself or the non-technical tasks. So there's a lot of skills that go into it together, and it's basically a job if you think about it, because all the skills you apply on a job you're applying here, and they can see you can do that. They can see you can build a car and work in a team, or manage a team. Even though it doesn't provide you results, that's where you learn the most. That's why I keep saying to my friends as well. They are so I have friends who are part of Oxford Brookes, which is the top university for USW for from a student, and they say they've been on the team for 2 years. They've learned nothing because they only have people who are experienced and they already have a workflow in place. They already have a car ready. While in our situation, we don't have a car ready. We have to build it from the very first. So people learn a lot. So yeah, that's definitely helpful.
And would you say, kind of going back to the whole applying your knowledge, do you find there's people like maybe on the technical side of the team that aren't doing a technical style degree, or like vice versa for the non-technical? So do you think it's some people are using it to get a taste of different things that they may want to do after uni?
Absolutely, yeah. One of our deputy leads for a non-technical team is actually a very versed person in CAD and does aerospace engineering. But she has chosen to go towards media because she wants to get a more hands-on experience with that sort of stuff. Um, However, it is rare to see people on a technical teams who are non-technical based, because obviously technical does require a lot of knowledge and a lot of expertise from your course, which is possible for people to have extracurriculars, but it's a rare case, very rare case.
And what was some of the like main lessons and key takeaways from being team principal and from working with Formula students that you know you're going to take with you after you graduate from USW?
Time management, I think, is the most important thing. Yeah, because it definitely teaches you how to make use of valuable time. You have many meetings in a day. You have many more extracurriculars to do in a day, and you have to obviously sometimes neglect some. You have to say no to some. You got to choose which one's more priority, and it does give you a taste of obviously what happens in real life.
So, what did your schedule look like then in regards to Formula students? So, what's a day to day timetable for you?
So it starts from obviously checking mails in the morning to see who has emailed me. Usually there's a couple, 10 or 15 emails from people like sponsors, people like our lecturers who help us. We've got people from other universities who email us sometimes for collaborations. Within the university as well, we're looking at some outreach and stuff. So we got people there. Emails is the first thing I start with in the morning, and then we go through with a couple of meetings, and then doing a bit of admin, looking at what the team is doing. Um, I'm not much technically involved with CAD and stuff, but I'm also the lead of software at the time. So I do help with building the websites and more bespoke software. So obviously delegating those tasks and making sure people are actually doing those work, and yeah, making sure we're on track.
And how difficult can it be if you've delegated a task to someone that you think, they can get it done really quickly, and they don't, and ends up unfortunately missing the deadline for that task? How do you have to deal with that for those that may struggle a bit more getting the task done?
So I follow a rule where if I think a task is going to take 4 weeks, I give them 6 to 8 weeks of deadline. Because obviously sometimes we know personal things come in life. Um, Things happen which are not under your control, or you might be struggling with something else at the moment. So obviously, I mean, deadlines at the end of the day, we have only a couple which are very fixed and very strict. Otherwise, I'm quite lenient on deadlines because it doesn't matter to me um, when the work is done, as long as it's done good. And I do plan in advance. So, for example, I've given someone a tasks about, for example, flyers, and I need them actually by September. But I started giving them the task now because I things might come in the way, and I want them to be ready by September. So I don't mind if they take their time and get it ready. So yeah.
And in the situation with the flyers, you've given someone the task to design them.
Mhm.
Then it was a case of having to find like a third party to actually print them. So is that where, again, given the plenty of like times, like the time to do it helps as well? Especially there's multiple parties that end up having to be involved with the creation?
I tend to always not notify the final party until I'm ready with the version myself. For example, recently we are in contact with an F1 team, and the deadline for that was a couple of weeks into early March. But I told the team it's way more in advance. That way, even if they do miss the deadline by a week or so, I always have a backup plan. And I haven't even spoken to the F1 correspondent until the task is done. So I don't give them a date, the final guide, unless they ask for a date, in which case, obviously, I tell the team a fake date to make sure the work is done. And it does work. So,
Mm.
yeah.
Well, I know you from working with inside the team, you can't tell us exactly who this F1 team is, but how valuable will that be to us as USW Racing having expertise from Formula One helping us?
This might be the single turning point of the entire history of USW racing. The only problem we had so far was the lack of knowledge and the lack of what to do if we are in a situation where we are crunching with time and pressure. If we go to the F1, I almost said the name there. If we go to the F1 team's campuses and workshops, we're gonna learn a lot from what they do. They're a very successful team, let me tell you that. So we're gonna learn a lot from what they do, how they build the cars, and what advice they can give to us in terms of especially managing a team. That's the most important bit. Building a car can be done in a month. If I'm being honest with you, it's a fact. It's just a fact of how the team delegates those tasks and how the work is being done.
A lot of a part of from what my understanding from what I've heard with former students, a lot of or part of what the competition is about is learning to how deal with a budget. So how does that work with the team? Do we have certain people that just deal with the budget, or is it kind of you oversee the budget as well?
So it's basically going to be the sponsorship and finance team and myself only in this regard. The other members of CLT, I have two more members, the operation manager and the technical director. They don't really look into the budget. It's going to be me and the sponsorship and finance team where we speak to more sponsors to get more money in if needed. And we decide where the money goes and how it goes.
And with those sponsorships, again, trying to get this F1 team to help us, but also, again, from my understanding, we reach out to other like engineering companies. How important is it? Do a lot of them give us just the money, or do they try and give us their knowledge as well to help?
We don't really go towards the knowledge bit. We go towards physical elements mostly. As for example, one of our sponsors provides us with physical stuff needed to build a car, like jack screws and like again, I'm not really much into the engineering space, but they give us more physical parts to work with the car, in exchange for us working with them for a long time, and we obviously have them as our sponsors on our jerseys and uniforms. Um, we got some people who reach out to us to give out free tires sometimes, and that's solely because we are obviously a community in the South Wales who are trying to grow. So,
Mm.
yeah.
And obviously, you're a USW thing, meaning you cross all the campuses. So, coming to Cardiff specifically, are you looking to, especially on open days and stuff like that, are you looking to sort of pitch Formula students to new students coming in for open days and stuff like that here and in Newport and elsewhere?
Newport personally is a bit far away. We don't have many people outside of the forest. But Cardiff would be a very valuable thing because we would need a lot more social. Because obviously Cardiff is a more social and like health-based campus, and the more STEM ones are Treforest. So Treforest will be our main hub and our main focus because it is the STEM-based campus. But obviously, Cardiff obviously has got a lot of people we need, like for the socials, as I mentioned. So yeah, we would look into that soon.
And how important is it to have, I suppose, a team dedicated to promoting the team on social media? Does that help bring more people in from when they join the university? And does it help create that more outreach for those sponsorship opportunities?
Absolutely, yeah. Um, Quite a bit of our sponsors do actually look into our social media, and they actually do understand we're actually doing work, and we obviously promote the sponsors sometimes in the videos itself as well. So the sponsors definitely love the social media work we do. Um, and in terms of outreach, we have actually got people coming in now who haven't actually known about the team during open days or some sort of stuff. They only saw us on social media, and they do come join us because of that. So yeah, it's definitely a very valuable team to have.
And one final question: what advice would you have to people currently sitting their A levels that are looking to come to USW and join the team? Is there any advice you would give to them on how to approach it?
Grab opportunities from day one. That's the one thing I would say, because again, university is the only time when you can do studies and extracurricular as big as you can do in the university. Once you're back into the field and you're working, you really can't have much extracurricular opportunities like these. So yeah, just grab as many opportunities as you can. I mean, at the end of the day, you're coming to university to get a degree. I get that, but you also have to develop your skills like communication, teamwork, leadership, and time management. And this can only happen, well, mainly through expertise and experience.
No, thank you. And thank you so much for joining us this week. And thank you, JP, for joining us. And we'll catch you next week with another interview.